They may look harmless, but a single touch from these fish can send you straight to the ER or worse. From camouflage killers to venomous beasts hiding beneath the waves, these are the most poisonous fish ever discovered. If you love the strange, the dangerous, and the unbelievable, smash that subscribe button. Let's hit 1 million subscribers this year. Can we make it happen?
Still be open to the idea. If you need us to tell you to stay away from poisonous fish, it may well be too late for you. But on the off chance that some of you may still be open to the idea of avoiding death by poison, let's talk about the lionfish.
When the fish gets agitated, those spines come through the fleshy sheaths, and then the venom is exposed.
It's difficult to even try and define the lionfish as a species. Typically, they grow up to 19 inches and weigh up to 3 pounds, but actually, the lionfish can be bigger and heavier, or even smaller and lighter than that. So while the size of the fish seems to change from one species to another, there are some traits that do not. The lionfish is a venomous fish, one that releases its poison through its needle-sharp fins. When injected into the bloodstream, this venom can be extremely painful, but is generally harmless when drunk or eaten. It's also apparently harmless to healthy human beings, although there are some that can have extreme allergic reactions to the venom. In that case, you may not make it. While most humans that encounter the lionfish will live to tell the tale, the venom will cause an immense amount of pain. But what is life without an immense amount of pain anyway, right? Clownfish is actually after discovering that, technically speaking, the clownfish itself is not poisonous, but they may as well be. The clownfish's whole appearance is actually designed to be a warning to any potential predator that dare attempt to infringe on their home, a poisonous sea anemone that kills anything that it touches. Except for clownfish, that is. Thanks to the wonder of nature, clownfish seem to be immune to the fatal effects of an enemy. With their bright orange and black and white striped body, these fish use their bodies to warn those predators about the likelihood of death. If a human were to go near the anemone, there's a strong likelihood that the clownfish would actually bite you just to keep you away, or they may head inside the anemone as a kind of challenge to that brave human. In summary, the clownfish is far from the friendly and wisecracking fish we've come to know and love. They're intelligent and capable of surviving a poison that would, and does, kill any other species. Blue-ringed octopus. As we've said multiple times on this channel, octopi are an interesting bunch. Some of them can be curious, friendly creatures that are content to sing and dance with the wiggles. Others are, to use non-sweary language, unpleasant. The blue-ringed octopus is the only known octopus that is poisonous to humans, and it's also one of the most aggressive species of octopus on the planet. This single species is capable of killing 26 adults in minutes, which is insane, especially considering that the injection process is almost unnoticeable for its victim. The blue-ringed octopus has two kinds of venom. One kills its prey, and the other is used as a defense mechanism. When the octopus feels it's being attacked or provoked, it injects its killing venom through the use of a reasonably painless bite that produces 2 small puncture wounds. Within seconds, that poison is coursing through your blood, and it's nighty-night for the victim. While most octopi are comfortable keeping their distance from other species, the blue-ringed octopus does no such thing. This is an animal that is more than willing to fight at all costs, and more often than not, it wins. Scorpion fish. If you've been around our channel long, you'll know that we like hybrid stuff. So take a donkey, you mix it with a helicopter, and hey, you have a donkey copter or something. Bad example. Anyway, the scorpion fish is kind of a hybrid. Let's talk about that. There are over 200 known species of scorpion fish in our planet's oceans. A baffling number for those of you that had never heard of the thing. As the name would suggest, the scorpionfish is an intriguing mix of traits belonging to both fish and scorpions, including, you guessed it, poison. Scorpionfish are blessed with spines that contain a deadly venom, which immediately injects into the bloodstream the moment contact is made. Studies have shown that a single sting from one of these spines can prove fatal to unsuspecting animals, though thankfully, it's just painful for humans. The scorpionfish tends to linger around the rocks near the seafloor, so it's highly unlikely you'll stumble upon one while on a trip to the beach. But if you'd rather avoid any chance of getting a mildly painful poison injected, stay home. Who wants to go to the beach anyway? There are people there. Yellow boxfish. Anyone that remembers the BP oil spill of 2010 will recall the horrific damage that comes when the water is poisoned by an unfamiliar chemical. What they likely won't know is that even fish themselves are capable of poisoning the water. The yellow box jellyfish is not the most poisonous fish by any means, but they are definitely one of the most damaging. These fish use a toxin named ostrocytoxin, or pahutoxin, to defend themselves. But there's a catch. Unlike many animals, the yellow boxfish isn't so good at releasing this toxin strategically. In fact, it seems like anytime this animal gets stressed or feels threatened, the poison just floods out into the water. And what happens then? Exactly what happened with the BP oil spill. A lot of dead animals. As the toxin pollutes the water, any animal that happens to be in the area at the time ingest it and quickly find their red blood cells being destroyed. I think you can figure what happens after that. While the yellow boxfish may not be the most poisonous fish on the planet, it's capable of causing a lot of damage to many innocent, or at least unsuspecting, sea creatures. Giant moray. There are some animals that deliver a more painful attack than others. Studies have shown that a single bite from a moray eel is more painful than bites by other fish of the same size. The reason for that? Well, it's more complicated than they bite harder.
They bite with enormous force, and almost anything is fair game.
While some will speculate that the instinct of pulling away the bitten limb will be the thing causing the problem, this is apparently not the case. Neither is the theory of infection. While infection will make the problem worse, that's not the root cause of the pain. As far as we know, the cause of the pain comes from the toxins within the eel's mouth. Thanks to a scientific study that saw scientists analyzing the eel's mucus, the results confirmed that several toxic substances were present, including some that destroy red blood cells entirely. Unless you're a fan of bleeding profusely, the giant moray is just another example of a sea creature you should avoid at all costs. Experts are still not entirely sure what toxins the mucus is made up of, so it's hard to say just how dangerous an encounter could be. Spotted trunkfish. It may have a pretty goofy name, but the spotted trunkfish is capable of some significant harm. And by significant harm, we obviously mean death. Is there any kind of harm more significant than that? While the spotted trunkfish never grow beyond 12 inches in length, their body is coated with a bony outer surface featuring 2 sharp spines. This body armor serves to protect the fish against predators, but the true toxicity and protection comes from its skin. When the spotted trunkfish is touched, the glands on its skin release a colorless toxin that is dangerous if ingested. That means divers are generally pretty safe, but any animal that dares to try and eat the fish, such as nurse sharks, will most likely die soon after enjoying what I hope was an excellent final meal. And since the spotted trunkfish isn't a particularly good swimmer, it's a popular choice among sharks and predators looking for an easy meal, which, of course, means a whole lot of dead sharks out there in the ocean. The spotted trunkfish is thankfully not a fish that will kill unsuspecting divers, but it's definitely not the kind of creature to be messed with. Consider this a warning to all the nurse sharks watching. flower urchin. In some countries and cuisines, sea urchin is considered to be a delicacy and has been referred to as the ocean's foie gras. That's very much not the case with the flower urchin, one of the most toxic sea urchins you could hope to find. The Guinness Book of World Records has named the flower urchin the single most dangerous urchin in the world. Native to the Indo-West Pacific region of the planet, this sea urchin is loaded with venom. This venom contains two deadly toxins, contractin A, which can cause the clumping of red blood cells as well as spasms, and peditoxin, which can cause convulsions, anaphylactic shock, and even death. So this should not be considered a delicacy of any kind unless you find death particularly intriguing. The flower urchin, like many sea urchins, injects its venom into predators using its sharp spines, and multiple punctures is enough to kill even the most durable living creature. When the Guinness Book of World Records tells you this thing is the most dangerous urchin in the world, that's a warning to heed. An encounter with this thing could quickly leave you paralyzed. If not, well, an ex-human. Box jellyfish. Everyone knows what you do when you get stung by a jellyfish, right? Okay, good. So that's one less gross thing I have to go through today. The box jellyfish is, like most fish, a pretty unpleasant thing to experience on a bad day, especially if you've already peed. The box jellyfish is named after its unusual body shape, but the poison comes entirely from its deadly tentacles, which are covered with tiny poison-loaded darts known as nematocysts. If a living thing is unfortunate enough to encounter and get stung by one of these animals, the poison is capable of causing paralysis, cardiac arrest, or even death. And all three of those things happen in the space of minutes. And they wonder why I don't want to go anywhere near the ocean. Despite all of the horror that I just described, it's actually not that apocalyptic. There are over 50 different species of box jellyfish, and only a handful have venom capable of killing humans. So that's something, right? Despite the low likelihood of the box jellyfish killing you, it's still not the kind of animal you should be seeking out. But chances are you knew that already. There are very few people who would want to be peed on following a jellyfish attack. Conus. They may be adorable, they may be cute, they may seem harmless, but sea snails are just as deadly as any other poisonous fish. In fact, these may well be some of the most deadly snails anywhere in the world. These predatory sea snails are named conus on account of their colorful and unique cone-shaped eyes, and can usually be found in the tropical seas around the world. All of that basic information aside, we should probably get this out of the way up front. There is not a single species of conus that is not poisonous. Unlike most toxic fish, which tend to hold their venom in spikes along their body, the conus is a little more creative. This snail uses a modified radula tooth and a venom gland to attack their prey, a kind of harpoon-type device that paralyzes its targets almost immediately. The venom itself can vary in severity from species to species, with smaller conus poison being no worse than a bee sting and larger species proving fatal to humans. There have only been 15 recorded human deaths as a result of conus stings, but that's still a surprisingly high number for such a little-known creature. Experts have frequently advised humans to never pick up one of these animals, and honestly, good advice.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.